Welcome to Spelling Bee Ninja. We're thrilled to have you join us on this journey exploring the fascinating world of philosophy. In today's episode, we're delving into the concepts of justice and fairness. If you're passionate about understanding what it means for people to be treated fairly and the historical perspectives on justice, then you've come to the right place. Be sure to subscribe for more engaging and educational content that sparks your curiosity and enriches your mind. Let's start by exploring what justice really means. At its core, justice is about fairness and moral rightness in the treatment of individuals. It entails giving each person what they are due, whether that includes their rights, opportunities, or the penalties they face. Consider this: justice is not just a theory of ethics or law, it's a foundational concept that undergirds how we interact with one another in society. Ancient Roman philosopher Cicero famously defined justice as the virtue that gives everyone their due. This definition still resonates today, as it lays the groundwork for our discussions about fairness and equality. Justice can be categorized into various forms, including distributive justice, which focuses on the fair distribution of resources, retributive justice, which deals with fair punishment for wrongdoing, and corrective justice, which aims to provide fair compensation for harm caused. Understanding these distinctions helps us grasp the multifaceted nature of justice in our lives. Questions about justice emerge in many aspects of life, including criminal justice, economic policy, and social relationships. Each of these areas reveals deeper inquiries into the complexities surrounding fairness and equity. Next, we can turn to one of history's seminal thinkers on this topic, Plato. In his dialogue, The Republic, Plato systematically examined what justice entails. Plato proposed that justice is like harmony, where each part of society performs its specific function without interfering with others. This led him to compare justice to the health of the soul, suggesting that a healthy society mirrors a just individual, achieving balance and order. He claimed that a just society is one where leaders, soldiers, and workers fulfill their roles appropriately. However, Plato's theory is often critiqued for its elitism, as it deems individuals' roles in society based solely on their natural abilities. This elitist approach raises important questions about individual autonomy and societal structure. Moving on from Plato, we encounter another foundational figure in philosophy, Aristotle. He expanded the discussion of justice by differentiating between distributive justice and corrective justice. Distributive justice is all about ensuring that resources and honors are allocated fairly within a community. On the other hand, corrective justice revolves around resolving disputes and compensating for wrongs. It's essential to recognize that Aristotle argued, treat equals equally and unequals unequally, which implies that similar individuals should receive comparable treatment, while differing individuals should not. For instance, consider a doctor who saves lives and a bricklayer who builds houses. They contribute differently to society and thus merit different forms of recognition or reward. This perspective begs the question: how do we determine equality and inequality in our community? These discussions remain pertinent today, especially in our debates regarding justice, equality, and initiatives such as affirmative action. Now let's turn our attention to the intricate relationship between punishment and justice. Retributive justice posits that punishment is justified when it is deserved. In other words, individuals face consequences if they violate the moral order. The phrase "an eye for an eye" encapsulates this theory. However, it's crucial to understand that retributive justice is not centered on revenge, it's about accountability and restoring balance. Proponents argue that retributive justice respects offenders' autonomy, treating them as responsible agents who make choices, and thus face consequences. In contrast, utilitarian theories of punishment justify penalties based on their practical effects, like deterring future wrongdoing or rehabilitating the offender. The ongoing debate between retributivism and utilitarianism is central to the discourse on criminal justice and offers a rich ground for exploration. Now, we must also consider the concept of restorative justice, which adds a different dimension to our understanding of justice. This approach focuses on repairing harm caused by crime or conflict, emphasizing accountability, healing, and reconciliation between victims, offenders, and the wider community. Restorative practices, like victim-offender mediation and community circles, aim to help offenders understand the impact of their actions while facilitating opportunities for making amends. While some critics argue that restorative justice may not sufficiently punish offenders or provide societal protection, advocates contend that it leads to meaningful accountability and reduces reoffending rates. The continued growth of restorative justice is shaping modern criminal justice reform, showcasing the importance of community healing and restoration. Another critical thinker in the realm of justice is John Rawls, a 20th-century political philosopher who introduced the concept of the veil of ignorance. To illustrate this, he encourages us to imagine making decisions about justice without knowing our circumstances, our race, gender, wealth, or abilities. Behind this veil, rational individuals would agree on principles of justice, ensuring everyone has equal rights and planning inequalities to benefit the least advantaged. This is profoundly significant, as it argues for a just society where everyone's rights are safeguarded and those vulnerable are supported. Critics of Rawls' theory often find fault in its idealism, claiming it does not account for the complexities of cultural differences. Nevertheless, his idea of justice as fairness remains remarkably influential in contemporary political philosophy and public policy discussions. Contrasting Rawls' views, we find the libertarian perspective of Robert Nozick. In his work Anarchy, State, and Utopia, Nozick presents his entitlement theory, which asserts that justice is connected to ownership and voluntary exchange. According to him, people are entitled to what they acquire justly, thus making any redistribution of wealth beyond rectifying past injustices a violation of rights. He famously equated taxation with forced labor, igniting passionate discussions around property rights and the role of government. Nozick's critique poses a direct challenge to Rawls' idea of distributive justice and urges us to confront the principles underpinning our social structures. Now, as we reflect on these ideas, a pivotal question arises: what is the connection between justice and equality? This remains one of the most contentious debates in political philosophy. Should justice target equality of outcomes, equality of opportunity, or perhaps something entirely different? Egalitarianism argues that justice requires equality in some significant form, be it resources or well-being. Meanwhile, proponents of luck egalitarianism contend that individuals should not be penalized for circumstances outside their control, such as genetics. However, others argue for sufficientarianism, stating that justice necessitates ensuring everyone has enough to lead a decent life, irrespective of equality. The ongoing discourse over justice and equality shapes our understanding of societal obligations and public policy directions. Justice invariably interrelates with punishment, inviting exploration into various theories surrounding this concept. Each perspective, from retributivism to restorative justice, presents strengths and weaknesses that impact real-world applications. Understanding these theories fosters a broader awareness of criminal justice reform, sentencing policies, and the ethics of incarceration. Ultimately, justice is a vital theme in ethics, law, and political philosophy. It defines our understanding of rights and responsibilities and shapes our interpersonal dynamics. The enduring quest for justice continues to inspire social movements and legal reforms across history. In many cultures, concepts of justice permeate major religions, literature, and art, reminding us that fairness, respect, and human well-being are essential to a thriving society. As we engage with discussions around justice, we find that understanding these principles is crucial for thinking about how our communities ought to be organized and how we can treat one another better. In today's episode, we explored the intricate landscape of justice and fairness. We examined key philosophical ideas surrounding justice, starting from Cicero's definition, diving into Plato's vision of harmony in society, to Aristotle's distinctions between distributive and corrective justice. We discussed how retributive and restorative justice frame our understanding of punishment, and explored John Rawls and Robert Nozick's contrasting theories. Lastly, we reflected on the complex relationship between justice and equality that remains a vital part of political philosophy. Remember, these are not just academic ideas, they influence our understanding of everyday fairness in our lives. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Spelling Bee Ninja. We hope today's exploration of justice and fairness inspires you to think critically about profound philosophical ideas that shape our society. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more enlightening content that sparks your curiosity. Until next time, keep exploring and questioning the world around you.